We've all played that character. The amazing, incredible hero with the tragic backstory, came from an amazing family, but both the parents died, and now they're saving the world. You know, we've all been there. But, you know, maybe not doing the stereotype is also kind of cool. And I'm here to offer some tips to help make better characters, at least more engaging and interesting characters, that I think. So, backstory. It's kind of like the foundation for a character. I think backstory is very important if you're new to making characters or wanting to make a very fleshed out character, at least personality wise. Backstories explain why your character is, who they are, and what their motives are, which is basically, you know, what you need to make a good character, okay? So making a very solidified backstory will just in general make an overall better character, okay? So that's kind of what I'm basing a lot of my tips off of, just as a heads up. So, tip number 1, don't make too ambitious of a backstory. I know, I'm kind of hitting you hard right off the bat. Making too ambitious of a backstory can be a bit problematic for a number of people in your campaign. Making a not so ambitious backstory, and when I'm saying ambitious, I mean like involving deities, making deities in your backstories, making whole continents in your backstory, just making these really vast plans for your character that your DM then has to implement into their world, or whatever world they're working with. It can make it hard. So making it not so big makes it first easy for the DM to implement into what they have planned, and it's less hassle for the DM. Let me tell you, I have had so many characters, so many that have just like, you know, I want to kill a god by the end of the campaign, and I'm like, I can't guarantee that. DMs, word of advice for ya, it's okay, and this is gonna sound crazy, to tell players no. I know, it's crazy. You might think, well, that's just going to ruin the fun. Ace, it's just going to ruin the fun. Yes and no. I think telling players to like back off a little bit isn't too bad. Because oftentimes, if you fix these things early on that could cause issues later, it often will help a game last longer and also be more fulfilling for the player, because there's a much higher chance that that player will get to see their character's arc through to the end. If it's too ambitious, sorry, campaigns, they don't usually make it to the end, gonna be honest. I've yet to have one reach all the way to the end. Just how it goes. So making it not so big makes it more likely that you're gonna see your character's arc to the finish line. That's just me, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Real quick Discord server plug. There's a new community Discord, link in the description. It's for D&D nerds, tabletop RPG nerds. Go check it out. Tip 2. Make backstories with multiple loose threads. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean is you have multiple things in the backstory that haven't seen a conclusion. You know, maybe your brother, you know, was like, haha, I want power, and he like killed your mom, you know, and then, I don't know, something happened to the brother and he like, you know, went off. But then, okay, the brother went off, that's a loose thread, and then you can also be like, Mom, no one knows where the body went, so that could also be a loose thread. And giving your dungeon master more loose threads gives your character more possible, you know, backstory entrances into the story, while also kind of helping the DM, you know, balance time between the players. I don't know. Having multiple loose threads, good idea. I highly recommend. It's very good. Tip number 3. Use objects as backstory pieces and or story pieces and or tie them into your character. So, what do I mean? Using objects to help reflect your character during the actual campaign, I have found to be very useful. For example, let's say, go back to the last scenario, your mom gave you this really cool emblem when you were young, you know, represents your connection to her. And so you bring that emblem with you everywhere you go, right? And that emblem symbolizes your love for her and how you want to get vengeance against your brother. That's your motive, okay? You can bring that emblem up during the actual campaign to kind of show that connection and to hint towards your character's backstory. And that's kind of doing it the story way. I've also just seen having characters have really random items that they use, like for weapons or armor or just in general, can add a lot of personality to a character. I don't know. I think it's really cool. A really good example of this is Matt Mercer and his character from Tales of Exandria. Look up some clips. It's hilarious. He does it really well. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, that's a good source. Tip number 4. Use inspiration. We all have that idea of a character we've seen from a movie or a book that we would just love to play or base a character off of. Do it. Use them as a template. Now, don't copy and paste. Work the character and make them unique. Kind of work them into the world so they feel personalized to you, obviously. But using inspiration can really drive the energy you have for that character and make it exciting to play. Because at the end of the day, you want to have fun and you want to be able to play that character for an extended period of time while still enjoying them. So using inspiration, do it. I do it all the time. Okay, it's amazing. Just do it. Yeah. And lastly, tip number 5, make sure you make a character that you will enjoy playing, whether it is from their backstory and the actual role playing to the actual mechanics of combat. Make sure you're going to enjoy them. I've had so many characters as a dungeon master, players, I mean, make these characters and be like, after 2 sessions, all right, I'm done. I don't like this character anymore. And, you know, I kind of sit there and I'm like, I've done all this work to work the character into the story, and you're just going to throw it out the window? Especially if you know you're going into a long campaign. Don't do that to your dungeon master. I'm speaking for you DMs. It sucks, okay? And it's still going to happen, but I'm going to try and mitigate it. Players, make sure you're going to make characters that you will enjoy playing. And now, I know, you might go into lulls with your characters from the actual campaign, but in terms of making the character, make sure the ideas and everything feel good, you like how it feels to play the character, just make sure you're going to have fun. Because at the end of the day, we're playing D&D, that's the goal. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Interact, you know? So, at the end of the day, that is one of the most satisfying things you can do in D&D, is play a fun character and see their story through to the end. So, those are my 5 tips to make better player characters. Hopefully you enjoyed them. If you want another player's tip video or some other tip videos, be sure to let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a like. Would be greatly appreciated. With that, check out the Discord server below, and here's to the start of a new year. A new year, new content from your man, Ace Infinity.